For thousands of generations, human life followed a simple master. The rising and setting of the sun dictated when people worked, rested, and survived. Before machines, power came only from living muscle and moving nature. Human strength, animal labor, wind and water placed hard limits on what society could produce. A merchant in the year 1700 lived much like one in ancient Rome. Life was local, slow, and bounded by the narrow reach of human hands. Yet beneath Britain's damp soil lay something different. Dark mineral seams held energy older than humanity itself, waiting to be released. For the first time, humans learned to draw power directly from the earth. This marked the beginning of energy that could be scaled far beyond muscle and nature. Around 1760, this transformation began in Britain. From this island, a new way of life would spread across continents. Handcraft and machine now stood side by side. One depended on skill and time, the other on speed and repetition. Coal was ancient sunlight locked away for millions of years. By burning it, humanity tapped a vast store of compressed time. Britain's ports connected the world. Goods, ideas, and raw materials flowed through its harbors without pause. An empire stitched together oceans and markets. This global reach fed the engines of industrial growth. Coffee houses became laboratories of ideas. Merchants and thinkers shared knowledge, profit, and ambition. Coal lay close to the surface and cheap to extract. No other nation possessed such an advantage at the right moment. Coal and entrepreneurship ignited a fire that consumed the old world. The medieval past could not survive this heat. 5 pillars held Britain above its rivals. Together, they formed the foundation of industrial supremacy. New farming tools produced more food with fewer hands. Agriculture no longer required the entire population. Freed from the land, men moved toward towns and wages. A vast labor force was set in motion. Political stability mattered as much as invention. Property rights protected risk, reward, and investment. Secure ownership encouraged innovation. Without fear of seizure, ideas could become machines. Rivers and coastlines formed natural highways. Transport in Britain was cheaper and faster than anywhere else. The scientific revolution reshaped how people thought. Experiment replaced tradition as the path to progress. High wages made labor expensive. Cheap coal made machines the logical alternative. Every calculation led to the same conclusion. Replacing men with machines saved money. Ideas turned into blueprints. Blueprints turned into iron and motion. Before factories, work happened inside homes. Production was slow, personal, and limited. Men worked beside the hearth. Industry still fit inside a single room. Cotton demand exploded across Europe. Textiles became the driving force of industry. Indian cloth set the global standard. British producers could not yet compete. Lower wages abroad undercut British labor. Innovation became a matter of survival. Laws attempted to block foreign competition. Protectionism delayed change, but could not stop it. Inventors turned frustration into determination. New machines became the only answer. John Kay's flying shuttle doubled weaving speed, but it unbalanced the entire system. Weaving raced ahead of spinning. Shortages revealed the limits of human labor. More hands could not solve the problem. Only machines could restore balance. The spinning jenny multiplied human effort. One man could now do the work of many. Small enough for cottages, yet revolutionary. The factory age was approaching. Patents became weapons. Innovation was now property to be defended. The water frame demanded rivers and scale. Homes could no longer contain industry. The first true factories rose beside water. Work was centralized, timed, and controlled. The spinning mule merged earlier ideas. Industrial efficiency accelerated again. Cotton imports grew beyond imagination. Production escaped all historical limits. Manchester transformed into Cottonopolis, a city built entirely around machines. Coal smoke darkened the sky. Industry reshaped the very air people breathed. Cloth became cheap. Human labor became expendable. Traditional industries collapsed abroad. British machines reshaped global economies. Beneath the surface, coal mining expanded rapidly. Steam made deeper extraction possible. Flooding threatened both profit and life. Technology had to advance again. The Newcomen engine answered the problem. It was crude, but it worked. Efficiency mattered less than function. Coal was abundant, so waste was tolerated. Energy burned freely. The true cost remained hidden. Mines descended deeper than ever before. Steam conquered the underground. James Watt saw what others missed. Heat loss meant wasted power. Partnership turned insight into industry. Capital and invention joined forces. The separate condenser changed everything. Efficiency multiplied output. Steam now drove motion, not just pumps. Factories were freed from rivers. Industry could rise anywhere. Geography no longer imposed limits. Steam powered furnaces and hammers. Every sector felt its force. Mechanical horsepower grew unseen. An invisible army replaced muscle. Charcoal gave way to coke. Iron production broke free from forests. Molten iron flowed in vast quantities. Infrastructure became cheaper and stronger. Cast iron reshaped the landscape. The world itself became industrial. Iron was no longer shaped gently. It was forced into form by heat, strength, and exhaustion. Puddling consumed the men who performed it. Their bodies paid the price for cheap industrial iron. From this labor rose factories, bridges, and rails. The physical skeleton of the modern world took shape. Fields disappeared beneath brick and smoke. Britain's landscape was permanently altered. Millions left the countryside behind. Cities promised wages, even if they delivered misery. Manchester expanded at a speed never seen before. Population growth overwhelmed planning and order. Streets filled faster than they could be built. Mud, waste, and overcrowding defined daily life. Homes became single rooms shared by many. Darkness, dampness, and disease moved in together. Observers like Friedrich Engels were horrified. They saw progress built on suffering. Rivers turned unnatural colors. Industry treated water as a dumping ground. The air itself became poisonous. Breathing was a daily risk. Graveyards filled faster than cities grew. Life expectancy collapsed under industrial conditions. The clock replaced the sun. Time became a tool of discipline. Workdays stretched deep into the night. Human endurance set the only limit. Machines dictated pace and rhythm. Men adapted or were discarded. Tension spread through factory towns. Exploitation planted the seeds of unrest. Political institutions could no longer ignore the crisis. Debate replaced denial. The first regulations emerged. They were small but unprecedented. Industry marched forward regardless. Progress and pain advanced together. The Industrial Revolution reshaped humanity forever. Its legacy still defines the world we live in today.